Good morning and happy Monday. It's just me, myself, and I, and you, which makes it a we, and that makes it a community. This is Room for Sunshine. Thanks for tuning back in. Do you ever have that moment where you're like I'm in a flannel. I don't know, is this a flannel? Does flannel only count if it's striped or like that cotton material? I don't know what you would call this. A flowy flannel? If you have a thought on that, let me know. Flowy flannel. But I feel like Captain Hook a little bit, like with the ends flopping around. And I'm just saying that because when you just get somewhere and you're like, that's not what I was going for, That's not the vibe that I wanted. That's how I feel right now. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the show. So, Room for Sunshine. Let's talk about that for a second. What are we doing here? We are looking at our lives and going, how can we be more mindful? And what does mindful mean? I don't know. That's really for you to decide. I'm just trying to ask myself on a daily basis, what am I doing? Am I happy doing it? And can I grow a little bit? Am I working towards, being a better person or just being like a version of myself that the world told me I should be? So that's the what we're doing. The who is me. I'm here because I've always felt a lack of community connection around evolving. I feel as though when you hear stories, I'm going to back it up. I had a really great weekend this weekend. So much fun. When you're just like, everything hits. It checks all the boxes. I feel rejuvenated. I feel happy. I feel sexy. I feel curious. I feel creative. I went on a little girls getaway with one of my best friends here, and it was just great. It was a great weekend. And naturally, a wave goes up and then it crashes down. And so that happened. My rebound this Monday morning was kind of like this sense of being lost is just the best way to put it. Confusion. I felt confused. I woke up and I was like, who am I? What day is it? Happy July, by the way, for the record, it's July. I was in my head, I was like, what month is it? But I do know it is July 1st. And all of these things are happening. I feel like sometimes there's just like the mind's running at a million miles a minute. And I've learned that we need to be able to ride the wave. We have to surf the highs and the lows. I don't surf, obviously, but just based on that reference, you already know that. But you get it. We need to ride the wave. You've seen a Pinterest poster before that says ride the wave. And to me, what that looks like is not becoming so obsessed with the highs that the lows are so heavy and not sitting and moaning in the lows for so long that we can't get back up to the high. But it's like, we're looking for balance. We're trying to come to some equilibrium. And so this morning when I was feeling a little confused, lost, and helpless, I did what sometimes I like to do, which is listen to other podcasts with other success stories of how did they get there? What are they doing? And this can be a gift and a curse is what I have learned, because sometimes I'll be so inspired, right? Like you hear a story about somebody who built their business from the ground up, the entrepreneur, and you hear, that it was really hard for them. But then you also find out that they like blew up at 19 years old. And right there, I'm immediately discouraged. I'm like, cool. So you became a millionaire at 19 and now you're just doing all of these other things. You have a jewelry line and a cookbook and a million other brands. That's awesome. What happens if I'm not 19? Did I miss the boat? Like who's the example of the 30-year-old that built a business, had a family, did all of these things? There are examples. I know that there are hundreds of thousands of examples out there. But I find that repeatedly, there is this narrative that comes through of the people who knew exactly what they wanted to do, went after it 110%, and made something of it. And that is inspiring. That is so incredible to see and witness people do. But I'm sitting here going, I don't know what I want to do. I love a lot of things, and I feel like I'm just kind of floating between all of these worlds, all of these passions. Who's the example for me? Who am I supposed to follow? And what then happens is the narrative that shifts into my mind is, am I wasting my time? Did I take a wrong turn and detour into some life that I'm not actually supposed to be living, that isn't serving what my dreams are? And was this all a waste of time? Even a couple weeks ago, I was having dinner with a friend of mine, and she and I kind of have similar journeys. She came from Toronto. I came from LA. We moved to Bali 2 years ago, roughly around the same amount of time. And we're sitting at dinner and we're just going back and forth. And we're like, okay, well, if we went back to LA and Toronto tomorrow, in the 2 years that we've been gone, friends of ours will have gotten promoted in their jobs, half of them engaged or married, finding all of this success. I don't even want to put it in air quotes. It's true. It is success in something that they're doing. And we're just going to get back and be like thrown right back into the place that we were in 2 years ago, having had this really fun adventure, but being like, did we just lose 2 years? Like our prime time, by the way, like fertility rates and so on. I'm like, we got to work with the now. And then what I really came to this morning, and this is the theme, took a while for us to get here, but welcome, is there are no wrong turns. There are no detours. There are only right turns. Obviously, there are left turns too, but for the sake of figuratively speaking, there are only right turns, because when I think back about what has happened in the 2 years that I've been here, I'm like, whoa, I've grown immensely. I've changed completely. I'm still me, but there is so much more that has been gained. It just might not be visible or look the way that other people's immediate success looks like. You can define a relationship through an engagement. That's like a marker. You can go, okay, look, we marked that event. We marked our love. We put a stamp on this love that we have shared and nourished and that has reached this place. And you can do the same with career, I would say. It's like, okay, I have this title. I'm making this amount of money. But we can't actually mark in a way that we can show other people our growth as human beings. And so I realized that I was associating something that I couldn't prove on paper as a lack of value, as a lack of worth, thinking that because I can't show something for myself other than myself, that time was wasted, when really this time has completely revolutionized the way I see the world. And what a gift that is. So why am I sitting in the what I don't have rather than knowing inside what I do? And I think that this can be applied in any way. It's so easy to feel like we detoured, like we made a wrong turn. Should I have moved to this place when I had that job opportunity? Should I have gone on the second date rather than just saying no? There are small examples on a daily basis. Did I give up my dream of being a musician to become a producer because that was just easier, or what was being presented in front of me? I guarantee every single being in this world knows what it is like to look back on a decision and go, was that a wrong turn? Did that take me off track? And like, the irony is, what is the track? Who knows what the track is? What's the track even made out of? I like that question. What's the track made out of? I might use that in a yoga class later. This is live. I got off track. My point is, can we begin to see and thank all the turns, all the decisions that we made that led us to here and now? Because when I start to do that, at least for my own experience, I start to soften out of the big story in my mind of what the detour could have led me to if I stayed, in line with where I was. And that's unknown. So we're working with all of these unknowns. We're like, if I had done that, who knows? You have nothing to be able to even compare it to. You might be able to compare it to what somebody else has, but if you look at the rest of your life story, nothing turns out the exact same for any two people. All of our journeys are sort of moving in their own sense of flow, even if they mirror the people around us. And so I say all of that this Monday because I just want this to serve as a reminder that every decision you make can be useful. And if you're anything like me, where sometimes you get really hard on yourself and act as though you made a wrong turn, or that you're off from where you should be, or that you're not doing enough towards some goal or dream, I just want this to be the reminder that you are if you see it that way. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be if you see it that way. And it doesn't mean that it's always easy to shift the perspective. I would actually say it's quite challenging, and that's where I get knocked down all the time, is in my own mind and my head and the stories that what I want to be doing, what I want to give, what I want to complete. But just take a deep breath and know that anything can also change at any moment in time. So you might still just be one step away, one friend away, one dream away from landing in that next space. And even then, once you get there, then what? Our whole life is a detour, technically. We're all just trying to navigate back to something unknown anyways. So why do we need to see it as a detour rather than just seeing it and thanking it for being the journey that it is? So make a right turn, make a left turn, make a U-turn. Maybe going back is going to help you go forward. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about today. Today I'm on a U-turn. It's going to be a U-turn day for me. I think I need to turn some shit around and spiral backwards to help propel me forward. These analogies are getting out of control. That's when I know it's time to say sayonara. So this is Room for Sunshine. I have something cool to share, is that we are going to be changing the Thursday episodes. This is a community, but it's basically just me talking to you. And I want to make it more interactive without having a host to share the space with. I want to bring you into this. And so what that means is Thursday's episodes are now going to become Ask Alyssa. Have you ever heard about Dear Abby? You know that when people would do Dear Abby, I need advice. We're going to do that, but in a more connected way. So basically, if you have anything that you're going through in your life, I want to hear about it. I want to hear what's challenging you, what's frustrating you, what's amplifying you, what is true for you. Because what's true for you is going to resonate with a whole nother world of people that I might not be tapping into. I'm just one person in one part of their own life story sharing what's on my mind. But I think that there is so much power in resourcing you all and what you need. So anything that you want to talk about on the podcast, I will offer guidance and kind of bring up awareness around that topic on our Thursday evening sunset chats. So at Room for Sunshine on Instagram, or if you want to email, roomforsunshine@gmail.com. So if you're not on social media, amazing, all the power to you, and email roomforsunshine@gmail.com. Send us a DM over the next couple days. I can't wait to read them. Let me know if you want to be anonymous or if you want a shout out. I'll support that either way. So I will see you Thursday night for our first Ask Alyssa sunset chat. And that is it from me. Have an amazing week. You're on the right track, wherever you're going, whatever car you're in, or train, or bus. See you next time.